Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Annika. I make videos all about simple, intentional living and peaceful productivity. And today we are leaning into the latter. I don't know if it is nesting energy or if it is just the new year, but I have been on a decluttering, organizing kick over here. A couple of weeks ago, I posted a declutter with me where we went through some different areas of my house, cleared out some space, and today we are taking the next step and we are gonna start organizing those things, focusing a bit more on the systems and structure of it all. I am very excited to get started, and I just think today is going to scratch my brain in the best way possible. We're starting off in the kitchen because it needs it. Over the last year, I have been intentionally downsizing and decluttering, and honestly, I'm really happy with the collection of items that we have in our space right now. I feel like we get a ton of value from them. But there are also some things that we have noticed, some systems that really need to get tweaked, some changes I really want to make just to keep this space a little bit more functional. We've moved quite a few times over the last few years, and one thing I've learned is it really takes me about 6 months of living in a place to figure out where it makes sense to put things. We've been in our place now for about 10 months, and I feel like we just keep discovering more and more little tweaks we can make so that our space is more functional for us, more practical for us, and just better suits our family's needs during this time. So today, we're gonna do some of those. We are kicking this off with a project I have been so looking forward to. I don't know about you, but I feel like some of the most impactful changes we've made in our home have been just incredibly simple, and this is one of those. When we moved into our home and set up our kitchen, we originally put our drinking glasses and water glasses to the left of the sink, and we keep all of our mugs near our coffee station, which is on the right of the sink. Now, you might be thinking, why is that a problem? Let me tell you, our dishwasher is directly in between those two things without a lot of space to walk around. And so every single morning when we are emptying the dishwasher, given that those two things are in the same category, we just always find ourselves going to put them in the same spot, and having them be in two different locations has actually become a pretty big pain in the butt. When we first moved in, I'm not honestly sure if we even could have put them in the same cupboard because we had so many mugs at that point, but we have really downsized our collection. Both my husband and I have Ember mugs, which we use every single day, and those have been huge. We do like to keep some additional mugs, which we mostly use for tea or when we have guests over, but we had way more than we need. There are about 4 mugs that Zach and I consistently reach for. All the other ones we pretty much just pull out if those ones are dirty or we have guests. So I left those ones on the lower level, just super accessible, easy to get to, and then put the rest one level up. I'm super happy with it. I think this is just going to be a much better flow for our space moving forward. Next up, we are tackling under the kitchen sink. I really haven't spent a lot of time trying to organize this space, and to be honest with you, I didn't today either. I feel like what we keep in this cupboard changes often enough that it doesn't really make sense to spend a lot of time trying to find a perfect organization system, but today was a good reminder for me to just clean things out and go through it more often. There were some empty containers, things we weren't using, and I also realized that I had an old container of soap which had spilled all over the floor of the cupboard and gotten stuck. The good news is that it gave me an opportunity to bust out my current favorite cleaning hack, which is using a bench scraper to get off anything that is really stuck onto a hard surface. I'll often put a towel underneath this, especially if I'm worried about any scratching. Works like an absolute charm. One of the beautiful things about downsizing and decluttering is that we actually have some physical margin in our kitchen. There's some empty cupboards and some empty shelves because we currently have no need to store anything there. Something I am finding is that I'm developing a little bit of a bad habit of putting things in those empty spaces with the intention to return back to them, organize them, find them a decent home, but that doesn't always happen. So I'm doing a little bit of condensing, pulling together some kitchen baby items we have that we're not going to need just yet to set aside, going through the cupboards, just kind of doing a little bit of a tidy. I'm trying to store things that we use less frequently up higher to just make the most of the space we do have and keep those frequently reached for items really accessible. I also wanted to mention a project we just did last week, which was hanging this like black metal rod above our sink. I saw this on Pinterest months ago and have just been waiting to do it ever since. We got this black bar on Amazon because it matches our sink hardware so nicely, and this has been fantastic. We've hung kitchen cloths and our bottle brush here. It not only keeps everything out of the way and accessible, but also dry, which just feels a lot cleaner. We often previously would drape towels over the sink handle and it just never felt like they were fully drying. Even if we changed them every day, just throughout the day, I don't know, it just didn't feel super clean. So this has been fantastic. Okay, next up, I really want to tackle my digital spaces. As I'm heading into a particularly busy transition season of life with having my first baby in a couple months, I've been thinking a lot about how I want to restructure and use my digital systems more effectively. I actually used to share a lot more about digital planning and organization, but it's been a while since I've made a video on that topic, so let me know if that's something you would want to hear more about. Between working, creating content, and just living in this day and age, I spend a good bit of my time online. Something I've definitely learned the hard way is I often forget to prioritize that space, but the reality is that it has a huge impact on me in the same way that my physical environment does. I'm working to find balance in my daily habits and routines and simplifying my home. I want to bring that energy and that intention to these spaces as well. I am so excited to be partnering with Shift Browser on today's video because they have actually been a huge part of that for me. I started using my previous internet browser in probably 2015, and to be honest, I just haven't really questioned it since. But as someone who constantly had way too many tabs open, multiple accounts on a lot of different platforms, and who manages a lot of different spaces for different purposes, I was so excited when I first learned about Shift. Shift is a browser that combines all of your accounts, apps, and frequently used sites into one window, meaning that you don't need to have 30 tabs open to seamlessly swap between the sites that you need. It's so much less overwhelming to use and look at. Something I am particularly grateful for is their workspace feature. I plan content, edit, and track deadlines on the same computer that I use to respond to personal emails and scroll Pinterest and listen to audiobooks. And I find that doing that all on the same device can make it really difficult to maintain work-life boundaries. Within minutes of downloading Shift, I had dedicated workspaces for my work, personal, and hobby projects, each of which is directly connected to the apps, tools, and sites I need to stay focused on the moment I'm in. Implementing workspaces has created a really effortless way for me to swap between work and personal mode at the click of a button. Throughout the process of simplifying my life, I've shared bits and pieces about how my relationship to technology has changed, and I think that's something I'm going to be talking more about this year. But one of the big things I have learned is how easily it is to feel overwhelmed after spending time on my computer. I often don't even realize how overstimulated I am until I shut things down and walk away. We're so used to consuming so much all of the time. And while changing my habits has been really helpful, cultivating my online spaces with intention has done just as much, if not more. If you're also on a journey to simplify your life and seek balance this year, I highly encourage you to check out Shift. Do not skip over your digital environment. I'll have a link in the description box so you can check out Shift Browser, and a huge thank you to Shift for working with me on today's video. If you did watch my declutter with me video, you have probably heard me share about this front closet, which has been a work in progress since we moved in, but I've just never fully completed the project. And today, that all changes. This closet is where we house our shoes, coats, winter gear, grocery bags, and a few other just miscellaneous things. It's really not that cluttered, it's just that there's a lot of stuff that doesn't really have a specific home. So I picked up these drawers this morning from Walmart that I think are just gonna bring a lot of order to this space. To be honest with you, I've been kind of beating myself up for the fact that it's taken me this long to finish what should have been a quick project. I honestly felt a little bit embarrassed to share it in my decluttering video, but as I was going through today, I was reflecting on something else I shared in that video. How I've been working to just slow down my pace in decluttering, not trying to make it into a one-day process, but actually taking the time to notice and appreciate the ways that we use our space and the items that we're drawn to. Definitely an aspect of this that was procrastination, and I'm not recommending that, but I will say that taking my time with this project meant that when I actually sat down to do it, it was really quick and easy to set up a system that I know we're going to be able to practically stick to and get a ton of use out of. I have really paid attention to what our needs are in this space as well as our habits, and I think this is both incredibly functional and something we can keep sustainably clean as people who are not always naturally the tidiest. I think these drawers are honestly going to make such a huge difference. It really cleared off the top shelf, so we just currently have that reserved for hats. Everything else is in those drawers, and then I added a couple of command hooks to the doors right at the end where I can just hang the couple bags that I want easily accessible. Side note, this is the newest addition to my capsule wardrobe. It is this mandarin leather crossbody bag, and I'm so obsessed. After the front closet, I was inspired to tackle the under sink area of our bathroom. As you can tell, there's a little bit of chaos going on in here. I have been kind of waiting to organize this until I came up with the perfect system, but I'm realizing a couple of things. The first of which is that there are spaces in our home that will probably never have a perfect system. Similar to the cleaning products in the kitchen, what we need and use in this space does change quite a bit over time, particularly as we are now adding a baby. We're gonna need some new things in the bathroom that we've never kept in here before, and we'll probably need to establish some new systems. The second of which is that while I am working to move slower in my declutter and organizing processes and expectations, I don't want to neglect areas of my home in that process. I still want to be intentional about taking care of our space, even if I don't feel like I have it laid out perfectly. I never quite know how to end a video like this because simplifying really feels like a lifelong process. I don't think I'll ever feel totally done, but I do feel like we made a lot of good progress this week. I got everything that I really wanted to get done, and I think the changes I made both to my physical environment and my digital one are gonna have long-lasting impact. Even just over the last couple of days, we've been able to use a lot of these systems, and I'm really, really excited. I feel so good about the changes that we're making. I really feel like there is something in the air right now. It seems like everyone I talk to is also wanting to simplify and declutter and organize, and I love it. I feel like we're all just hanging out together. It's a great time. I do still have quite a few projects I want to do in our home before the baby arrives, so stay tuned for some more organization and nesting content coming your way very soon. I wanted to say another huge thank you to Shift for partnering with me on today's video. I truly can't recommend them enough. I've had such a great experience using this platform. It has brought so much balance to my digital world. I'll leave a link to check out Shift in the description box. Definitely let me know what you think. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I so appreciate you being here. It means the absolute world to me. And I hope you have a good day because today is a good day to have a good day. That's it. Bye.